Hello and welcome. We're going to pick right back where we left off with everybody running in the rain of wheels and cogs, as it were, towards the ziggurat.
Does the rain appear to let up at all? Like, do we see an eye in the storm or anything? Or is this, as far as we can tell, just what we're going to have to deal with?
Perception, please.
And we all.
Yes. Whoever wants to make a roll can make a roll. Because, you can't see anything.
My eyes aren't no good.
It can't. Two.
Too distracted by all the infrastructure pieces in front of me. Cannot see past it. It's
Oh.
bright.
As far as the eye can see, it is nothing but metal rain. And if you look up into the sky, you see nothing but clouds until they disappear into the horizon.
So are they metal clouds to be raining this?
They don't appear to be. They just appear to be regular clouds.
Right. This is a bit unfortunate for traversing these streets, but we'll make do with it, I suppose.
How much further is it?
A while since now you're on foot. It wasn't so bad in a car. On foot, it's a little worse, but you had made about half the distance in car, so I think it was 30 minutes total to drive, so had about 15 minutes of driving, and now you've probably got another 30 minutes of running / walking. Give or take.
Is there anywhere that we can use for some sort of cover? Can we go through buildings? Anything like that?
There are, as you get to the more populated sections, or once populated sections, there are buildings you can duck in and out of. Even if you have to go through a, glass window. Sometimes you may have to put a boot into a door, but all doable.
As we traverse the streets and buildings and just make our way towards the ziggurat, obviously my objective is leading this little group to the ziggurat so we can get some first-hand data, but I'm gonna keep my ears and eyes and other senses open, essentially. Keeping an eye out for whatever might still be functional infrastructure-wise across this city. I don't know if I've been here before, but the God Machine certainly has. So if there's anything of any use anywhere, even if it's just broken and I can dismantle it for ether, I mean, I'm keeping my eyes out for it.
Is that a specific role?
It might be. If not, I was probably just gonna keep popping on Voice of the Machine every now and then to see if I couldn't hear any, dying whispers of some infrastructure long abandoned.
Well, right now, if you pop Voice of the Machine, what you hear is a cacophony of dying infrastructure. As if almost all the infrastructure in the world is in its death throes.
As it sounded earlier, yes.
And of course, you hear the God Machine itself with the on loop SOS signal.
Then, I guess we're screwed. The alternative is finding something that's already turned off and thus isn't actively dying. But that's a long shot. Without knowing where to look. Onwards to the ziggurat.
I'm assuming all of that was allowed, so Tiago and Röslein would hear Kant's muttering.
Muttering to myself, yes, about...
Just keep moving. Keep moving.
Röslein.
Yeah.
Your predatorial instinct kicks up. Feel not someone else's beast. That would imply that there are kindred about. You just feel the beast itself. Multiple different ones. And as you exit the building to duck into another one, your eyes turn skywards and you begin to see the yellow-orange eyes in the sky.
Ooh. Friends. Well, enemy of my enemy. Close enough. She's gonna hold up the door with one hand and whistle. See if she can get their attention. I can't actually do that whistle, so.
Why don't you give me... I guess this is a presence plus expression roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's
The way you're laughing makes me think that's a really good one for you. Really.
Yes.
It all comes down to this. You invested the points wisely, my friend.
What?
There you go.
Wow. Oh, wait, no, you would...
That doesn't make sense.
You'd be rolling a chance die. You didn't roll
Yeah.
a chance die, you rolled a regular die.
No, you can't do. You rolled a 9. You can't do this.
That doesn't make sense though. If it's 1 and -1, that should have rolled 0. Why did it even roll?
I don't know.
It's a chance, yeah.
All right,
Could
well,
be a chance.
yeah, let's try this again.
Unless you want to burn willpower.
Nope.
They cannot hear you over the sound of the rain. Your whistle comes out more of as... Just like you, the person, Röslein learns she cannot do that whistle.
Can't do that whistle.
The cacophony of metal outside is too loud.
Well, just them being here is a sign of something. They like to gather in disasters. This is clearly a disaster area. I'm still curious of what they're doing. I wonder if there's any people here. They like screwing with people.
Nobody gonna take any interest? Okay.
Are you just talking to yourself? Because I will be.
If anyone can hear,
I will turn back and I don't.
yeah, it's just a few nemesis in the sky.
Do we have another problem?
Not me.
We have a lot of problems.
Well, it's metal rain is just too loud. I can't exactly get their attention. So,
Do I see anyone in the sky besides the
Give me another
dying god
perception.
machine?
You've been so good on perception checks
Oh
recently.
yeah, we'll get it, we'll get it. See, yeah, I blinked a few times, I saw it.
You see what looked to be orangey yellow circles in silhouettes of owls. You don't see feathers, you don't see owls. Essentially what you're looking at are two yellowish orange holes in a black void shaped like an owl.
I'm gonna assume I haven't seen a Strix before, so
I would say probably not, actually.
yeah, I'm gonna assume I do not know what I'm looking at. Okay. Well, fireflies in the sky, somehow not getting knocked down by the rain.
they're not fireflies. They're the birds of Dis. Strix. Does nobody know they're...
small lights in the sky, those are fireflies.
I mean... No?
What bird can fly in a rain of metal?
What firefly can fly in a rain of metal?
Why is it raining metal? You know what? They're not, hopefully, like the cause of any of this, so we're gonna ignore them, I think. Unless...
They shouldn't be the cause. They don't really deal with big stuff like that. Although they tend to gather. They like being personal about it.
Just so you know, Tiago, with both Röslein and Kant pointing them out, you're quite aware of the outline of owls and the yellow-orange eyes that they have.
Can I make a check to know what they are outside of ramblings?
At a minus 3.
Okay.
Debated between that and minus 5. Like, that's gonna be intelligence occult.
Is there boogeymen even to the vampires?
Yeah, but he deals with the dead. How
They're
many
not-
people do you think?
Let's do,
Yeah, but the
yeah.
Strix kill people, you know? Like, maybe a ghost man
Yeah, well.
should offhand.
For 3. I'm doing alright.
You've heard tales told of similar monsters. You don't have an idea essentially of what Röslein has, but you've heard them in folklore. So the name isn't they've had many names. So hearing them called Strix, the Birds of Dis, that might be new, but you're at least vaguely familiar with their form and folklore behind them.
And why do you think they're here?
Like I said, they're drawn to disasters. They've come to watch the world burn. Or fall in metal rain. I don't know.
Are you sure they are not here to cause the disaster?
There is a debate about that. Do they cause them, or do they just know they're about to happen and gather?
Philosophical questions aside, do we need to consider them an enemy?
I don't. I bet some pretty cool
Yourself
ones.
aside, do we need to consider them an enemy?
I think if you have something to offer them, then maybe not.
What did I miss?
Not much. Kant just wants to know if he has to worry about Strix being an enemy.
Rumors
Don't
are to be
really-
believed. Keeping them at arm's length.
Well,
I mean, they can be useful. I mean, look, they're flying freely in the metal sky because they're all shadowy and all that. So, scouts are excellent scouts. And they know things. Blood magic and all that cool stuff. I was terrible at blood magic.
I would not even begin to hope that they know anything useful here.
We're running out of time.
Correct.
If they come in useful, then it's another problem.
Yes. We need to reach the ziggurat. We need to gather some samples firsthand. The others have been working on another plan. And since we're in the field, we're going to help them.
The ziggurat is probably only another block away. After you leave this building, essentially, there are no more buildings. Everything's been taken out. So, it's just a dash to the ziggurat after this, essentially.
Maybe this is. Let's see how the world ends.
As the three of you make your way in, you're able to find an entrance and duck in. Just as one of the Parliament lands just outside the door, kind of leans its head in to look in, makes direct eye contact with Rose.
Hello.
You see it kind of start to adjust itself as if it's getting ready to attempt to rush. For everybody else, it would be rush towards you. You would be more than aware that it would probably be a rush into looking to take possession of you.
Me?
Yes.
Why me?
You're a vampire.
Thought they couldn't do that until I was in torpor.
Yeah, they beat you into torpor first.
Now hold on now, I thought we had a thing. You, me, Belial.
Brood?
Yeah.
I thought I sensed lack of humanity in you.
Who needs it?
Far away from home, are you not?
A bit. I got a job to do.
This conversation's being carried out in your head, at least on the part of the Strix. I don't know if you're responding aloud.
He probably is.
What brings you out this far, then?
Apparently, we're here to kill a god.
There's just silence from the Strix at that. The two of you can kind of see the owl occasionally cocking its head back and forth, rotating it 360 degrees sometimes. But you hear no sound other than what seem like responses from Rose.
The small vampire child speaks bird body language, or what? I shouldn't even be surprised.
So, sorry, go ahead. You first.
What are these individuals with you? I smell
Uh,
death and metal.
Well, one of them is kind of dead. He's weird. I don't know. He dies. He comes back. I can't. That's how he explained it. The other one.
I'm weird.
The other one, I don't know where you're getting metal. He's kind of fleshy. He's got these fleshy hand drill pits. Those are interesting, but metal? I don't know. What are you doing here? Come to watch the fun?
In a manner of speaking. A little bit more enthusiastic than we would put it, but not inaccurate given the circumstance. And it's at this point that sentence is broadcasted to the two of you directly into your head.
Just that last one.
Yes, just that last one.
Oh, okay. It's to Ishmael.
Ishmael didn't hear anything. It's only in your head.
So, what's the news?
News of what? I mean, outside of the obvious. Metal rains from the sky as the last vestiges of humanity breathe their final breaths.
Yeah. I think if that happens, it's going to be pretty boring. For both of us. I mean, I like killing people as much as the next vampire, surely. And Strix. But if they're all dead, then what? It's boring.
A new world seems to be in the makes. Kind of takes a claw that manifests ever so slightly, grabs a hunk of the meat moss and just yanks it off the side. Kind of lifts it up and it, looking down and it's at its talons with the meat moss in it, and then kind of lets it go as it drops to the ground.
Yeah, but if that's the new world, then it's kind of gross and I don't like it. I don't want to be all pussy. Gross. Nasty. I like the old one better.
So the three of you are attempting to stop the inevitable?
That's my entire existence. You should know that. That's any vampire's entire existence.
What of the two of you? Oddly silent oddly silent in comparison to your compadre.
Some might say she does the talking for all of us. So
We are
it ends.
We are speaking to a bird in a doorway of an ancient ziggurat. full of a world-ending plague. Do you expect me to have a lot to say? We have a job to do here.
This bird flutters into it, the ziggurat, and lands on Rose's shoulder. You feel no weight on your shoulder, Rose. It is ephemeral, but it seems secure in its perch. Let's see what the three of you can do.
All right. New friends. Let's go.
Let's save the world.
Yes. As I said, we need to gather some samples. We need to figure out what the main contagion here is, the best way to attack it.
Would you like to use your etheric resonance at this time?
We're outside of the rain, so yeah, why not? We'll see if I can't sniff out some. Let me scroll back to that part of the book. Yeah, here. So yeah, spending a single point of ether, demon can feel out ether in an area around her for the remaining of the scene, etc., etc. And because we are at Primum 10, it's unfortunately within a mile of me. But yeah, in case we run across anything inside, it might be slightly more obvious. But onwards.
The ziggurat, in of itself, isn't producing ether, but it has residual ether, almost as if it were a deleted and then restored bit of infrastructure. It's got the same resonance as a bit of infrastructure, but not quite right, as if it had been deleted and then just recently restored. Completely deactive.
That's very interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye out for anything that might suggest access ports to figure out what's going on with it, instead of just latent wiring around me.
If any, are there any Avernian gates open? Because the
Yes.
ziggurat, obviously bleeding abyss.
Yeah,
Yeah, if there's something immediately nearby, I want to try and close that. Stop the problem of, nothingness.
the entire ziggurat is essentially an Avernian gate. A massive one. And you know very much on the other side of the ziggurat is the Ocean of Fragments as well.
Yeah.
Any leaks?
Not that you can
The
see.
whole thing is bleeding through. It's what's on the other side. This place exists concurrently. Side here, at the same time, in nothingness.
Ooh.
Every single memory you have, every single part of you that makes you who you are, slowly sapped away. You got what you need. And I do what I have to do. To Kant.
Well, I'm going to... There's meat moss here, but I don't think that's quite what we're looking for. I don't know what we're looking for. Because we already know this stuff is not natural to the Contagion. It was created by Task Force Valkyrie. I was just gonna mumble to myself as I wander down the halls, I guess.
You get a... I don't want to say phone call canned, because that's not quite right. But it is communication from the other group. Very much kind of like the owl, it comes straight into your head. There's been a holdup. We're stuck. We are sorting the situation out right now. We're going to need a place where we can rendezvous. We need to get this weapon out of here now. Do you have a place? Were there any survivors, or are you alone? Let's start with that.
2 survivors. One of the undead, one of the other variant of undead. There was a third with them, now perished, I assume. They seem to have dealt with the underworld, the ghost variant. Well, the underworld, I believe, is collapsing in upon itself as we speak. I'm leading the other 2 in. We are trying to get a better sample for you. Something to target a little better. We're in the ziggurat now. The entire thing is deactivated infrastructure. Who am I talking to even? I assume one of the other demons, because that's probably how they're talking to me, but that's irrelevant, I guess.
It's a voice that, honestly, you hadn't heard in a while after her disappearance, but it's Izzy's.
Okay. Yes.
And then you hear what seems to be more indistinct chatter. It does seem to be an open channel, as it were.
You're on speakerphone.
A few of the individuals here say that the bottom level has an antechamber that might be large enough to house the bomb. The 3 of them are going to work on getting it there.
Are they content with its current targeting, or do we need to refine it still?
Are we going to be content with anything at this point? Nothing we're doing is optimal at this point. We don't even have a true delivery method.
It was merely a question. If they are content with the weapon as is, they can work on a delivery method and we can pull out of here and search for more avenues of attack.
It needs to get out now. We run the risk of losing it.
Onwards, then we'll proceed onwards. I will locate this antechamber and contact you from there. If nothing else, drop it on me.
Confirm. Röslein, very much like the other 2 were that first time, you are feeling left out of the conversation now.
Sorry, what are they dropping on you?
I said that part out loud, didn't I? Like I said, we have a plan. We have a modified weapon that we need to target appropriately here. We need to reach the bottom of this place. There's an antechamber, allegedly. That, I believe, is our goal now. I'm assuming neither of you have been in here before. That would be too convenient, correct?
Did we actually go in this side? On the...
The ziggurat, you were down in the antechamber when it was in the underworld. Now, honestly, from the bits and pieces that you've been able to move through, everything looks the same. It doesn't seem to have changed any. So, realistically, I'm going to say it is 100% the same, whether it's in the underworld or in the world of the living. So, you know the way. You've been there.
It seems like it faded.
You cut out really badly there.
Sorry. The lock is on here. I knew I've been before.
I will not interrogate you as to why. Simply lead the way. You likely navigate the place better than I do.
Forward and down.
That'd be very convenient if it was simply forward and down. I somehow don't believe that'll be the case.
It is not the case. It is a little bit of a winding necropolis, as it were. But in spirit, forward and down is correct. Takes probably another 20 to 30 minutes to reach the bottom. Certain pathways were choked with meat moss, so you had to take alternate routes or rely on Röslein to butcher the way through.
Dirty work.
Now, this is at the point where people want to look for specific things. You've kind of got enough lay of the land from the journey to be able to go off and look for your own answers in different locations, should you so choose. Please let me know what you want to look for and give me an investigation plus intelligence roll.
Intelligence anything or
Investigation.
Investigation. You're investigating the cigarette.
Yeah. Sorry, it popped out. Yeah.
Ooh.
I will assist Kant with whatever.
I mean, if we're just investigating the place in general, I don't know what the infrastructure here is for. So,
I don't know what I'm guessing, but I'm giving you bonus die.
I will take it.
I'm just following your lead.
Okay, boss.
Well, having to tear away the meat moss from certain locations, you find two things of note regarding the infrastructure. Kant. Specifically, you find two different access points. One amidst a very large mural, faded and worn with time. Seems to depict a city. You're not sure of what city. And then another one in the floor. It seems to be in the center of some faded, dull carvings.
Do they appear to be of similar age, importance, any varying distinguishers among them?
One is older than the other. The one on the wall is much older. They're both ancient access ports, but one is significantly older than the other.
Similar construction?
Older construction, yeah. For lack of a better term, essentially what you're looking at is one of those old... This entire infrastructure is one of those old school desktop computers, you know, with the white, kind of grimy looking.
Yeah.
You have your standard display ports.
There's a floppy disk drive over there.
And then you have another port that looks to be something maybe more akin to a... I don't want to say HDMI because I think HDMI is still a little too new, but you know, the ones with the little turning knobs, they're like blue. I forget what they're called.
Oh god.
The
SATA?
the RGB. RGB.
There's RGB and then there's SATA.
RGB, it was,
Yeah, we got some high quality
SATA,
tech
yeah.
here to work with. Alrighty.
I mean, there's no doubt
Hey.
this is old infrastructure.
Anyone who knows anything about like information technology knows that you do not trust anything new, and if your printer makes a weird noise, you threaten it with a hammer. You cannot trust new machines, okay? So this is good. This is good. You know, we got some time tested. Here.
Are those things actually here, or are you just illustrating one's older than the other?
Illustrating one's older than the
Okay.
other.
I assume they're not actually.
It's just a computer desk here in the middle of the ziggurat.
No.
What did they mean by this? This ancient Atlantean Windows XP.
Windows 95.
Ooh, I remember that.
The Exarchs are using Windows Longhorn. What? Okay.
Before you start
complete
interfacing
tangent.
with things, Röslein,
Yes.
is there anything you wish to investigate?
Oh, she didn't have anything specific because she wasn't told to look for anything specific, but she will look around and see if there's anything else out of place, doesn't belong here. I don't know how else to phrase that.
Give me a roll.
Intelligence investigation. I'm still on chance die.
Try that again.
3 successes, not bad.
As Tiago pulls up a bit of the meat moss from the ground, revealing the access point for Kant, you take specific note of the carvings on the ground. Now, you made a certain comment earlier that you're not good with something, but you're very much aware of it. While this definitely looks like some sort of sigil from what you can see on the ground.
I don't know what this means. But she turns to the Strix on her shoulder. Do you know what this means? I was never good at this stuff.
Too much of it's covered. Wouldn't...
Let's clear it off then.
So you just start hacking at the floor?
Yeah. Pretty much getting all, if there's like meat moss on it, just tearing it, throwing it away. It might, she might throw it at one of the others.
Roll a 1d2 and I'll determine who you throw it at. Flip a coin. Tiago, you get a piece of meat moss hurled at you by Rose.
After it hits, she says, "Heads up!"
Never work with children or animals.
Rose is both.
That was the implication.
While they're uncovering this, I guess I should probably, call back to HQ and tell them I'm here. So I will do that. I will recontact the other demons to let them know that I'm in this antechamber, and whatever infrastructure is here is accessible from here.
Affirmative. The other three will lock onto your location and will have your payload within the next... And then literally, it appears beside you, as if space folds in on itself.
Within the next now.
You should have received it.
Yes.
It's not relatively large. It's probably 10, maybe 15 feet in diameter.
Okay. It's essentially just like a rocket, right?
No, it's not a rocket. Because the rocket would be a traditional delivery device. This is essentially just the payload.
Okay, so it's the cone of the rocket.
It's the innards, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's a big cylindrical bomb. Got it. Okay. We're activating this now, then, I assume.
Only if you know what you're doing. Activating it without a target or any way to actually harm the entity would just waste the shot, as it were.
Let's see what our old lord decided to leave us here. The others over. Go ahead.
This place can't stay where it is. It's a doorway that shouldn't be here. Everything that's nothingness, that all bleeding out into the world, it can't stay.
It can't stay, but it might be our only shot at hurting the plague.
Once that thing's armed, I'm closing this place. Forever.
Once that thing's armed, I'm gone. If that's a bomb, I don't want to be anywhere near it.
It should not hurt you. It is not designed to do so.
So we gotta find this thing's vulnerabilities.
Correct.
Where it's all spreading from.
The voices in my head, I would like to send them a message and ask them another question. Do we know... Some of them were already here. Do they know anything about this mural or sigils? Or as we're working on, can I, as we're uncovering it, the Strix can tell me what the hell it's doing? I want to know which USB to plug into, One of them's gonna crash my system, the other one might boot to BIOS, okay? I don't know that, though.
You've decided to launch in safe mode.
So, the Strix basically communicates to Rose that what she's looking at are ancient magic runes. However, the Strix does make it very clear it is not blood sorcery. However, if you were to ask me, all sorcery is linked. They are traditions based off of older traditions, based off of older traditions, based off of still older traditions. They all come from the same source. Twisted and diluted in some cases, but there should be a level of crossover. Kant, you get the information that the mural depicts the ancient city of Atlantis, a supposed paradise for those that are awakened, is the term used. And the sigil on the ground was the original bindings that held the contagion in place. And Ishmael draws your attention, Tiago, as it kind of points. Doesn't point at anything on this side, but points. You get the sense he's pointing to the other side. Roll me a perception check.
Correct.
You no longer see the underworld on the other side. You see a vast, uncompromising void of nothingness.
It's gone. All of it.
Ishmael seems to nod somewhat in agreement. And turns its head as if to say, we are probably all that is left.
If we survive, you know what happens next, right?
It actually shakes its head as if to say no. Gestures, as if to say, we're treading new water here. Who's to say what can actually happen at this point? Oh, actually, let me phrase it like this. We'll see you next time for the finale of the Contagion Chronicle. Take care.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of the Contagion Chronicle, The World Plague, the conclusion to the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, what is this plague that invades both body and mind?
Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the finale of the World Plague, Contagion Chronicle. Where we last left off, our vampire, demon, and Geist were in the antechamber of the ancient ziggurat, all posed with various existential crises, especially in the case of the Sin Eater and Geist. So let's open the floor with them as they stare at the empty void that is the underworld. Void swirls ever so slightly. You can detect movement, but you're not quite sure how. It's as if it's pressed up against saran wrap.
If we survive this, old friend, we do what humanity has done for centuries. Begin again. Rebuild it. Build it back better. Learn from the mistakes of the past. The dead will still need to move on.
That is, if we can actually survive, and if there is anything to die after this is done. It seems to gesture and move in such a way to communicate this. It does remind you when you used to find its way of communicating a bit irritating.
That won't survive.
When do we close it?
We draw it in. And we seal it in there. In the nothingness forever. That and a big old firewall for company.
Was this spoken aloud or just spoken to the Geist?
Oh, I'd say aloud, yeah.
He said it wasn't a bomb. What is it? Which is it?
What are you two debating over there?
You said when the thing goes off, it won't hurt me because it's not a bomb. And then he said when it goes off, there's gonna be a big fire explosion. Which is it? Whether I stay or go depends on which one is true.
When that thing goes off, this place is going to be closed off forever. And that nothingness that's threatening to consume everything is going to be shut in here with it. Where we are, well, that remains to be seen.
There's always a way out. I have a plan. But first, I need to see what this infrastructure is, and I need to see it correctly. I am going to attempt to plug into this old, depreciated infrastructure and see what I'm working with here.
Plug.
Oh, the mural. It is the older one, and thus probably has a little more insight to what the place was originally here for.
Just dust off your SCART cable.
Yeah.
All right. I believe this is the first time we've ever done something like this. What is the role?
That's how you do it. So, if it's at all similar to angel jacking, it's resolve premium.
That sounds good to me.
I'm also gonna willpower it. It's unfortunate my resolve is kind of poo. Okay.
What's an exceptional success do in angel
I
jacking?
may have overreacted slightly, but
10 probably do that.
it's considered an extended action, so it's extended action.
Much shorter.
Okay, so
It's usually like a contested kind of deal to steal an angel cover.
we'll do it as an extended action because that makes sense in this case. You overcome the first hurdle.
He logged in.
No,
We're at BIOS.
he turned it on.
Turned
I
it on.
found the power button.
You are able to restore power to it because it was an unpowered, deleted bit of infrastructure that just reappeared in the world. It's not hooked up to anything right now.
Not even on the internet.
Does anyone have their Windows install disk?
Just get the 1 month free trial.
Okay.
Röslein?
So yeah, she's been uncovering this. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's uncovered by now.
Okay, so it is some kind of magic circle. I don't know what it does though. You want to activate it?
I do not have the required sacrifices needed. Do, however.
Do I? What do you need? I can go get some more if you need it.
You really don't have any idea how Kruak works, do you?
Well, I mean, I have an idea called blood sorcery and all. I'm just saying, if you need more, I could probably go find some out there and bring them back.
We need your vitae.
Oh. My vitae is pretty potent.
Hopefully it won't require as much as it might otherwise. Then. So, we're going to have to make a little bit of a deal.
Ooh.
Are you capable of falling into torpor?
Capable?
In a moment's notice, as in right now.
Am I? That was the player to the storyteller.
I mean, technically, you could definitely,
Vampires can go into torpor at any moment. They can always voluntarily fall into torpor.
I thought torpor was different from day sleep.
It is.
day sleep is instantaneous. You can't avoid it. Torpor, you can choose to do it. You can't choose day sleep.
See in 1,000 years.
Oh, that. Okay, that one. I mean, I could. Why?
I can impart my knowledge into you, but I have to be let in.
Hmm. Why can't you just do it outside?
Doesn't work that way.
What if, like I said before, I bring someone else back in here?
We don't have that kind of time, and you know it.
Look, on the one hand, I don't even know what this thing does. I thought it'd be interesting to turn it on just to see.
You don't seem to be able, or you don't seem to have any knowledge of Pruak. And unfortunately, I don't think we have the requisite time for me to teach you.
You are asking a very, very steep price.
I promise I will not commit synthesis. We will remain two separate entities.
Hmm. Hmm.
At this point, make me another roll. Can't.
You got it. I am still not feeling confident, so I'm burning more willpower.
That's this, okay. Interfacing with the old infrastructure is slow. It seems like parts of this infrastructure was not completed. So you're having to essentially create pathways. You're relatively certain this is what you would classify as a command control infrastructure, I believe is the correct terminology.
That sounds familiar, yeah. I can't remember all, I think there's 5 of them, but I know that is one of them.
But it was never put into use. It doesn't seem like it was abandoned. It just seems like whatever caused its deletion stopped it from becoming fully activated. Basically, enough of the blueprints are there that you can operate from it. So it's not going to hinder you too much. It is just going to take a little longer than you would hope, staying jacked into infrastructure like this.
Does a specialty in infrastructure construction help me at all here?
Yes, from now on you'll be able to add that specialization to your dice pool.
+1 is still a +1.
Tiago?
I'm gonna hold back and wait, but I'm not gonna act yet. But it's possible. I'd like to get ready to at least find Vernian Gate.
Right, then you continue to listen to the conversation Rose has with the owl. You are only obviously getting half of the conversation because the owl is once again only talking to Rose. And I'm sure Rose is responding out loud because she
Yeah.
doesn't seem like the type to not respond aloud.
If it turns out that that thing is actually a bomb, and that guy's actually going to trap us in here, you need to get me out.
It would be to my benefit to do so as well. If that is truly a bomb that creates fire. So, most assuredly, our priorities would align in that case. For I would be just as destroyed as you would be.
Because there's still more people that I want to kill. When this is done, people are all coming back. This is probably the stupidest decision I've ever made, and that's saying a lot. So she's going to walk to the center of the circle, sit down cross-legged, and go into torpor.
You see Röslein lay back, and to, I guess, a casual observer, as Tiago would technically be in this situation, she appears to die. The owl takes one last look at the now jacked-in demon and Tiago, and fades directly into Rose. Rose, you stand back up, but you have a passenger now in your head. Welcome back to the waking world. Now this one, it is all in your head because you are technically in control, but
She's gonna test this by lifting her hands and giving him a wiggle, looking around.
and just to show, as you do so, you're wiggling your fingers. The Strix stops one hand and makes you raise it, and then activates one of your disciplines, Claws of the Unholy.
Ooh. Ooh.
Just to show you that it can. We are one right now, you and I. I have access to your abilities, and I can give you access to mine. Now, for what we're going to do here, there is no right. At least, not one that I know. We are going to have to create our own here.
Is that difficult? It was hard enough for me to do the basic stuff. I never did get a handle on it. But then again, this is your knowledge now.
It is. So, please spend a point of Vitae at this time.
Right? Spent.
Okay. Just reading the quick notes here. How long would you like this extended action to be? One entire scene?
Yeah, if it's brand new and the Strix isn't entirely sure, we should, take a bit extra because he's got to figure out how to do it anyway.
All right, so you are going to roll composure, investigation, and divination. It has 2 dots in divination.
Okay, so... Oh, it has 2 dots. Okay.
Yes.
Investigation... 2... 3 successes.
Write that down because this is an extended action, so this is going to take a bit of time. I have target number of successes already for both yours and Kant's. Kant is currently at 10 successes. You are currently at 3 successes. It's also at this time. What's your maximum vitae, and how much do you have left?
Maximum is 100. I have 57 left.
Please spend 9 vitae.
Okay.
For those that are watching, you see Rose begin to move about, still with the claws of the unholy, examining the sigil on the ground, and then you first stretch out one arm. This is all being done by the Strix. Yep. She lays her arm open, and blood just comes gushing out onto the sigil.
It's very dark and thick blood.
No, just no. No.
Tiago turns and looks away.
Jack would. Tiago is made of stoner stuff.
Ishmael kind of gestures towards the ongoing blood ritual as if to be like, that is also very new.
Still plenty of the world to see. Plenty to live for. Or bad choice of words.
I'm not, Ishmael kind of gestures, I'm not sure this is part of a world that most people would want to see.
This one, no. Maybe what comes next will be better. Can only hope, right?
Well, Can't. See how you do with your...
Let's see if we can't put this back together and finish the construction. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'd like more successes, but 3 will have to work, I guess.
pathways are slow going. You've essentially made it to the startup screen, as it were.
Okay. Alright, we're past BIOS. We're at the startup screen. Or are we not even at BIOS yet?
No, you've hit BIOS.
Okay, we hit BIOS. We've installed Windows 95. And now we're trying to get to desktop. Got it.
Now, at any point, Rose...
It seems like you're trying to open.
It seems like you're trying to stop the end of the world. Would you like some help with
that?
Clippy, I need you.
Rose, at any point also, I would like to state that if the Strix does something, you can attempt to get control back.
Okay.
Would you like to allow the Strix to continue? It just poured out 9 vitae, which I'm pretty sure is somewhat alarming.
It's not nothing, but it's less than she's used before.
Give me another roll.
2 successes.
That would be... two vitae.
Okay.
As it drips from your arm.
I'm imagining she's walking around the circle,
Yeah.
just it's dripping into the grooves.
A little bit more than dripping, technically.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Tiago? We're essentially in a turn order, so that's why I keep coming back to you.
Yeah, no, it's only if basically there's anything I can do to prepare for this. Is that a thing?
Pull up, because I know you also have access to extended actions of
Yep.
it. Are they crew traits? No. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Ah, yes, here we go. There are several ceremonies. Let's see here. Innate bound. Speaker of the dead, invite a ghost to talk, pass on.
yeah, you just have a conversation with a random ghost. Hey, how you doing?
There's many of them left.
There, I would recommend looking through ceremonies. There's quite a few.
Okay.
Make a new one.
Do they?
Or yeah, if you want to. There's always the idea of creating a rite, a ceremony in this case.
Where are they listed?
I see page 130 quite often on the codex, so...
Ah, yes. Other ceremonies. I'm assuming this is probably a... Ooh.
And there's always a gestalt, create your own. So if none of those seem to match, then we know which one.
I mean, we're doing we're doing the reverse of Persephone's return.
Okay, so...
So it's create a new... Oh, no, I need to do that later. That's create a new Avernian gate or reopen one that's been destroyed. But it's essentially... Yeah, it's the sense of closing a...
And it's a 5-dot of ceremony?
Hold on. I'll have a look through. I'll find some things.
Oh, give me one moment. Oh, that is... Oh. I don't need to troubleshoot. Yeah, so page 131. So essentially, I would say it's gonna be the same dice pool if you want to do it in reverse. Actually, you know what? No.
Okay.
I would say it's still going to be a cult. That would be fine. But it's going to be strength because you're slamming something shut. And this is a little bit more powerful than a regular Avernian gate.
Yeah. Okay, so... Strength occult. Okay. Oh. Right. I'm going to sink a couple of points into occult, actually, because
Yeah,
I've got to get them right. Yeah. Bit, that's 3. No, they're two now, aren't they? Yes, I've got two left.
Kant, would you like to roll us your next bit?
Sure, boss. Let's keep going. Call me Mr. 3. I only roll 3s.
No, nothing to begin with. Can't find the.
All right. Kant. You load in. Everything's static at first. But things start to get a little clearer as you essentially shake off the cobwebs, as it were. Now, as stated, this is a command infrastructure. So specifically, you see what this was meant to command originally. What it appears to... Hold on. Make sure I'm understanding what a command is. Of course, Demon has no table.
Page 63.
63. Thank you. Command and control. Lie and demons. Some demons. And command and control.
Demons, mutter, demons, mutter.
Basically, what this thing was originally going to do was going to be a command center for a dimensional / time infrastructure that would allow the God Machine access to a time, place, existence. It's fuzzy that it did not exist in.
So, that's what it was supposed to do. Are any of the pieces still here? Also dormant somewhere else, maybe in the world, or something that I can now try to activate?
Well, you notice one thing specifically. One piece of infrastructure that it's connected to, which you're able to link back to the access point on the floor, is slowly coming online. It's a defensive infrastructure. Not created by the God Machine. Created by other entities. You can tell by the way... just by the way it's designed.
Something it's kind of taken for itself and turned into its own infrastructure, though. It's not made by the God Machine, but the God Machine's using it.
And as you kind of branch out, it starts linking up with, this infrastructure starts linking with others as rapidly as it can. As if it's trying to pull power from all other infrastructures to fuel itself. It's now creating pathways on its own. You're not having to do anything. It's just automatically creating pathways.
Well, I'd like to try to log these pathways that it's making, just so I know where it's all plugging itself into.
The vast majority of what it's plugging itself into is logistical infrastructures.
Well, still good to know. Where all that is.
Rose?
Another roll. Oh, only one.
And you have a total of... Now, here's going to be the little caveat for you. This roll's going to be a little harder than normal.
Okay.
The reasoning behind that is technically 2 of these dots are not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you are now at the 50% mark. You only have 3 more rolls. At this point, spend another point of IT as well.
Alright, done.
The Strix begins to have Röslein chant. Seems to be... if you would like, Tiago, roll me intelligence. Just roll me pure intelligence, actually, I think, in this case.
Dude.
You're able to make out bits and pieces of it. It's not Portuguese. It's not Spanish. You had to take a guess. It's Latin.
Always Latin.
It is. There's enough crossover between the languages where certain words in Latin you can kind of make out the general gist of some things.
And devout Catholic country of Brazil probably heard enough religious, traditional religious services.
To be fair, though, if that's the case, then everything you're hearing is very heretical.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Kant can translate for you.
I'm busy plugged into the wall, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Am I? Like, can I hear? Am I
No,
aware of what my...
No, you're in...
I'm all the way in? Alright.
Yeah.
I can't hear it through the, like,
You're in the Matrix.
the sigils.
Pre-alpha. You're in the pre-alpha Matrix.
Damn.
So, with that being said... Tiago?
I did terribly on my last time, so why not try again?
How many times?
Just one.
Okay, you have 6 chances, so you have 5 more chances.
I'll take the 6. I will reduce the number of success levels with that.
Okay. So, as you watch as these 2 begin to do whatever it is that they're doing, how do you start setting up your ritual?
It's finding the very kind of reaches of where this thing is sort of reaching out. Where's the extremities, and begin essentially closing the world in around it. This is a ritual. It's destroying an Avernian gate.
So, essentially, what the ziggurat is it's a massive wound, as it were. And you're, for just a purely medical term, as it were, you're suturing it shut, starting off on the outer edges and making the center just a little bit smaller so you can get the next suture in, and that makes the center just a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. Rose.
Oh. Can I willpower?
What was our ruling on willpowering? You had to do it on the first one?
But it's more, I think it's more if it's... from what I remember, it's you could use it whenever, but it's because possession. Can Rose use her own willpower?
Yes, in this case. Because it depends on if Rose actually really wants to push this, though.
Well, she's gonna ask, how much longer is this gonna take? Or how far along are we?
Mechanically speaking, you're 6 out of 15.
Okay.
So under half.
Yeah, let's put a little more effort into this, shall we? 3.
That's another 9 Vitae.
Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's up with these numbers all over the place?
There's actually a rhyme and reason to it.
I'm sure there is. I just don't know it.
Can't. After a few moments, it seems to have logged into all available logic infrastructures that are currently online. It's at this point your cover can't handle it anymore. Your cover immediately burns away.
Okay. I'll drop in a demon form. Don't matter to me.
So everybody now has to see the biomechanical monster that is Kant.
Yes, still.
Spider thing.
The small room-sized mechanical spider now clinging to the wall, I guess.
It's at this point you get visions of an ancient civilization, an ancient people, far more powerful than anything you have ever seen before. You see godlike entities walking about as if they were normal people.
They're visions, however.
For the moment, until you seem to solidify in that world. At this moment, I would like to say one specific thing. Can't. Welcome to Atlantis. We're gonna go on our break. On that note, let's go ahead and leave you in Atlantis.
Bye.
Tiago, go ahead and get more rolls for your ceremony.
I'm going to willpower this one. 9. 2.
Everything's continuing apace. Not as fast as you would hope, but not as slow as you would fear. Rose?
I'm gonna willpower again. Come on. Oh, come on.
0 successes. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls. You have one more roll.
Yep. Did any Vitae get used on that one?
No, this one was more chanting, and at this point, all the Vitae has sort of filled every crevice of this sigil and is now bubbling. Steam is rising up as if the blood was being heated. I think we're at such a turning point here. Go ahead and get your last roll.
Alrighty. Uno más willpower. And here we go. 3 successes.
That is your last roll on the extended action. Failed. Does not present any danger to you. It doesn't backfire or anything of that nature. However, all costs of the ritual are still consumed. The blood becomes inert, no longer being vitae. Strix says, I'm sorry. There's just... We're not skilled enough for something like this.
Well, that was a waste.
Can't. Are in Atlantis, for all you can tell. You're still connected to the machine, and you can still see the infrastructure reaching out now that it's got all, it seems like every single logistical infrastructure that's still active. It is now reaching out to elimination and defensive infrastructures. And that's when you notice corruption in some of the infrastructure it's connecting to.
And I attempt to issue a do not connect command, blacklist them, close these connections at all.
Give me the same roll that you used to interface. Resolve.
I mean,
You're able to stop the connections. Full stop. However, every so often, it attempts to connect to a different one that's corrupted. It's something that you're going to have to repeatedly do, which it keeps drawing your attention away from where you are. Hold on. Leaf
Picking up.
blower.
Not picking up. Did initially, and now it's gone.
Yeah, now it's gone, but it's still in the background of my voice, guaranteed.
Ah,
But we should be okay now. You don't seem to be noticed as people swarm about you, moving hither and thither. Now, the godlike entities, they do seem to take note of you, but they treat you as if you are an insect carrying a ball of yarn. A curiosity, but not a threat by any stretch.
I am an insect. In a way. Well, I mean, is there any, was there any like any text file on the machine, on the infrastructure here that said what the God machine wanted to do with this place, or
As
like, do I have any idea?
Yes.
I just know it. Okay, sorry.
As I had stated, this bit of infrastructure was meant to be a command and control unit for essentially the God machine to travel to a time or dimension that it did not exist.
Okay,
If you
so I have no idea what it wanted to do here, though, besides be here.
Roll me perception.
Okay. It's not quite as good as I'd like.
As you begin to look around. Not too far. See the ziggurat. Not the decayed ziggurat that you witnessed when you entered it an hour or so ago. Something pristine in grandeur that is far beyond, honestly, even your comprehension. It almost seems to emit its own light, even though it's made of stone.
And I comprehend a doorway.
I mean, same building as it was, just not all
I-
run down.
You know, I see something I recognize. That's a good place to start, I guess. I'm gonna go towards the ziggurat. I'm going there in my car. That's the engine.
It's okay now. It's cleared.
With that, no, it's not, because he's right at the garage. You're just gonna stand there like an a-hole?
Can't hear anything. Honestly, it's not feeding through. Oh, it's a bit.
We can wait. I mean,
Alright. We're going to move back to Tiago. Give me another one of your rolls, please.
It's either 0 or.
Yes.
Oh, another 0. No, don't do this to me now.
You have 2 more rolls. At this point, the ziggurat begins to shake. But not from below. You don't feel it shaking underneath your feet. You feel it shaking from above. Can't. You'll approach the ziggurat.
unless anything seems to be stopping me, or any of these godlike entities seem to take more than an idle curiosity to me, I guess I'm gonna keep approaching. I mean, I could try to grab one of their attentions, but, I don't know if that's a great idea.
Nobody makes a move to stop you. Most, from what you can tell, don't even notice you. What you do notice is it seems like all infrastructure, the building the ziggurat is attempting to connect to, is corrupted at this point. You're having to stop a connection every second. And it's at this point I need you to sacrifice a point of willpower to keep this up, as it's mentally draining.
Is there... do I have a command over it enough to just tell it to stop connecting to things? Like, just in general? Or is it's just not gone, it's on its own little path of...
It's on its own path.
You close this window, that window opens.
Right. I don't want to risk getting knocked out of here before I figure out what's in this ziggurat on the other side, so I'll spend a point of willpower. Yeah.
As you enter, it is very much what you expected it to be. It is a necropolis. And from what you can tell, it is for those that have fallen ill. There seem to still be some living individuals in here. From their garb, their pure white garb, you would assume there's physicians of some sort. As people are laid to rest, still alive here, but usually, as you actually see it like 2 or 3 times, as they are laid in their section of wall, they expire within a few moments. Sometimes they have various pocks on their bodies, rashes. Some of them are issuing coughs before they pass.
So it's a sorts of... I mean, it's a burial ground. I am going to attempt to maybe get the attention of one of these fellows garbed in white. How effective that's going to be, I'm not sure. But I'm going to try.
Give me wits plus expression at a -5 plus any deductions that you have if you don't have expression. As these are just normal people, quote unquote.
Yeah. Ah, that's a dice pull of 4 at a -5 is not gonna really... That ain't gonna work.
Your willpower.
I could, but I only got 2 left, and I don't know if I want to spend it on this.
What else are you planning it for?
That's only gonna give me a dice pull of 2. That's not very good either.
Better than no chance.
I could walk back outside and yell at one of the gods to, hey, can you go grab a doctor? My planet is sick. You know what? No, I believe in the chance die. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky. I'm not feeling lucky anymore, guys.
That is a dramatic failure.
I'm not feeling lucky, guys.
You are ignored by everybody as you move through trying to get the attention of others. However, you do not pay attention to the pathways you walk. And you end up in the antechamber with the plague god. At this moment, the shaking in the ziggurat in the present day reaches a crescendo, and the top of the ziggurat comes off. And the plague god looks down. 3 of you. Give me your final, or give me your roll.
Who?
That's success. You succeed right before the top is ripped off. In other words, you were going to get one more roll, but it was going to be at a penalty because of all of this.
Yeah.
But you succeeded. Well, what do we have here? Now, at this point, both of the plague gods are going to say the exact same words. So, you aren't in the scene together, but you also are.
Yeah.
So, everybody just keep that in mind. Can't hear you, and the rest can't hear you, can't.
His body or his robot body is still there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
A few little ants stand against me.
No.
Well,
Is it not obvious we are? Well, I am. I'm alone. I don't know that he's on the other side, guys.
curious machine, entity. You know your father has fallen. There is no more. Oh, what was that quaint term? Machine? And then the two of you, a corpse. You're already dead. You're of no consequence. And then you, being of half death, half life. What? What's your resonant? And then at this point, he lifts a hand. I've saved a few of these. And he begins to drop the parasite versions from his hand.
So I'm guessing, are we somewhat, right now, are we out of the world in the ziggurat?
No,
Is the ziggurat sort of sutured closed, if that makes sense? So it's its own little...
I'm letting you decide when you want to fully close it. Essentially, you have the ability to do that whenever, but once you do that, everything goes off.
Where's the bomb?
It's right next to everybody.
Rose. Run. And you run. And when it feels like you can't run anymore, you're gonna run some more. And you don't look back.
She pops celerity and literally poof.
Can't.
Come on, you big metal spider, get back here. Come on.
At this point, you feel the infrastructure make connection with something that's not infrastructure. But very quickly, it becomes elimination infrastructure. You are well aware of what it is.
It's the contagion, isn't it? It's connected to the infrastructure, though. So I'm thinking... it's connected. I'm gonna administer the bomb directly to its bloodstream.
So, I want to ask this question. Is everybody ready?
I'm gonna... I was gonna say, I am gonna run after Rose, and it's basically... if Rose gets out, great. If I get out, even better. If Kant gets out, better still. But give it till the last moment, and I'm gonna close everything.
So, I'm guessing Kant, you want to activate it?
I have to be plugged in. I ain't running nowhere.
Okay. I had told you I was calculating a dice pool. I told everybody this during the break. That at maximum, this dice pool would be 5. Based off of how this went, I would either add or subtract. So you had essentially a chance for 0 die, and you had a chance for 5 die. We have 2 people quitting the field, 1 that is unable to quit the field. We have 2 successful extended actions. I'm going to give you a total of 3 die for this. Which means exceptional success is no longer on the table.
We don't have 10 again.
Well, okay, Technically, you do. It is not a chance die, so you do have 10 again. You are correct.
Feeling lucky? I can't roll 2 dramatic failures in a row, guys.
So, who... unfortunately, that is the correct phrase. Who is feeling lucky to roll these 3 dice?
My rolls haven't been bad, but I have had a couple of zeros.
Same.
Looks like they're saying it's on you, Gavin.
Or we could roll for who rolls for it.
You know what?
Should we each roll 1?
If you wish, that could work.
Okay.
Then
Let's
So,
administer
let's-
this antivirus
So
to
let's
its
go to
first.
Gavin.
Simple roll. Dice pool. 1.
Can we willpower it?
No.
The god machine's not dead until every single piece of it goes to... Oh, it was on a chance die. Hold
Yeah.
on. It doesn't matter, though. I rolled a 1.
Okay. You rolled a 1.
That was a chance die.
Oh,
It's still a d10.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
only rolling 1 die, so...
that means, as I stated, I also stated this, that if you get a single 1 and you fail, dramatic failures on the table.
Yeah.
Peter?
Come on, you got this.
Not confident, but here we go. No.
That's a 2. We're getting somewhere,
Jack.
alright?
Come on.
Salute.
The end of the world as we know it.
The bomb goes off. However, the infrastructure merges at the last second. The elimination infrastructure goes off. However, pre-Atlantean Plague God and current Plague God merge into one entity. A true Atlantean God now exists, and the world falls to plague. Those that are still alive eventually breathe their last breath, leaving only those that can't die. Those that are undead. Eventually, they all fall into torpor. A new creation is created. Something akin to a living planet, bent on only infection and growth. Kalmir. The infection that you saw on your golden road takes hold. The rot, the disease, begins to eat your arch magic, as it were. The plague god arrives on your doorstep. And unfortunately, a single archmage is nothing compared to an Atlantean god. That is where all this final session, Chronicles of Darkness, Contagion Chronicle. The world no more. Life exists only as disease. All for watching is also at this moment. We will say goodbye and adieu. We will see you. Well, we won't ever see you on this channel again. But we will see you again. Please find us at Rollsborn, where we will be publishing content on there. So, for the Domain Gaming, care.
You have just finished listening to the final episode of the Contagion Chronicle, The World Plague, the finale of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A very special thanks to you, the viewers, and we hope you continue supporting us by subscribing, liking, sharing, and as always, leaving those wonderful comments. You can also support us on Patreon and get access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and more. We will share other stories with you very soon. But until then, never stop asking yourself,